right, guys. Hey, Paul McLean, welcome to the Monday Morning Wake Up Podcast, guys. I'm telling you what, I'm excited about the podcast today. This is one that I'm not going to have to tell you to share. You're just going to do it by nature as you go through and listen to the value that's going to be provided today, guys. We've got somebody on here that didn't just hit Hall of Fame. This is somebody that he helped so many families in 2022. And we look at how many families he protected. He technically hit Hall of Fame over 3 times in 1 year. Like he hit Hall of Fame like almost every quarter throughout the year. And so if your goal going into 2023 was like, man, I want to go out there and increase my sales. I want to go out there and serve more families. How do I go out there and serve more families, right? What must I do to serve more families? Guys, today, the answers to that question you've asked yourself, it's going to be laid out. So grab a pen and a piece of paper and help me welcome Shadi onto the podcast.
I like it.
Shadi, good to have you with us, man.
Thank you.
Well, hey, dude, I appreciate you, man. This is going to be something that I've got a high expectation of what's going to be provided. Shadi, what you've done is it's impactful, man. Like I think for me, as I got started in this business, Shadi, what I produced was really what the standard. It was based off the standard. Okay, so like when I worked for this prior company, the level of production, if you went out and helped 200 families in a year, like that was a big deal. And so because of that, I went out there and I helped 200 families and I was a top producer. And then I joined Family First Life. And I remember Mark Mead went out there and he went out and helped 400 families in a year. I'm like, dude, maybe that's the standard. Maybe that's possible. And I went out there and I helped 400 families. And so when there's ever an individual like yourself, Shadi, that comes on board into a company like Family First Life that's got such a high level of excellence, such a high level of performers that want to go out there and create, success for themselves and their family. When you come into that environment and you do what you did, man, and you help that many families, right? Over 1,300 families in a year, 3 times plus Hall of Fame in 1 year, you set a whole new standard. So, dude, I just want to tell you, man, I appreciate what you've done because there's people on my team, people on your team, people in the entire company that are going to go out there and elevate their level of production because of what you've done. And so really today, what I want to do is unpack that. I'd love to have you start with talking about, maybe a little bit about your background. How did you, what did you do prior to Family First Life? And then how did you find Family First Life? And what was so attractive to you when you saw FFL?
So I actually got within Family First Life through with Dan Shinade, and when him and I were talking on the phone, he actually did told me about it. And it was Father's Day, and I was sitting across from my wife, and I literally looked at her and I'm like, "Is this guy BSing me or what?" And I like it's just full of it's like doesn't make sense what he's saying, right? So I went ahead and looked it up online. He made me a little curious about it, and I actually went to the convention back on 20. Well, I was within the company then, but it was like 3 months in. I went to the convention. That what got me really motivated to actually work really hard. So first thing, my advice to especially newer people is be in that convention because it's going to help you out a lot.
What year was that, Shadi? What conference was that?
The convention.
Which one was it? Was that 2021, 2022?
It was
How long
2021. That was my first convention. So
okay, so this is like your second year with the company.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay, so 2022 is your full year.
My second full
Family
year.
First Life.
My second full year.
Okay.
So I started in October of 2020. And then 2021, that was my first full year. In 2022, my second full year. So
okay. What changed? When you went to convention and you saw how big this thing could be, what do you think shifted in your mindset that gave you this goal and aspiration to go out there and help this many families?
Well, I walked home to my wife and basically told her, "Listen, you're not going to see me this year. I'm going to be working my butt off, and I'm going to be really work and put a lot of efforts to actually trying to hit over 1,000 family." Yeah. So at this point, I worked my butt off, and I realized that by June of year 2021, even if I was working 7 days a week, I was hitting 400 families. I hit 400 families. So I realized if I keep going the same momentum, I hit 800 families. But that wasn't the goal. The goal is to hit over 1,000. So at this point, what I did is I went ahead and hired a dollar. And again, I'm not saying that for anyone to hire a dollar or anything, but the reason I hired a dollar is to increase my field days, not to take days off. So I hired a dollar. Obviously, it took me a minute to find the good one. And once I got the good one, I started being in the field 7 days a week. Literally 1 day off, 7 days a week in the field. And that's how my first full year, I hit over a thousand family, 1,100 families. And year number two, same thing. I just did the same thing over and again. But technically, I got a little bit better in the home, and all I was doing is trying to outwork everyone, trying to get there. That's all it is.
I love that.
Yeah,
I mean, so you helped over 1,000 families your first full year
correct.
in this industry
Hmm.
with Family First Life. So if there's anybody on here, they're starting out. This is beginning of 2023, and they're like, I really want to see great success. I mean, if anybody's on here like that, this is somebody that can say you can do it because he's done it. His first year went out there and helped over 1,000 families, hit Hall of Fame multiple times in his first 12 months, and then you went out there in year two, elevated by almost helping an additional, 300-400 families in year two. That's such a massive, massive deal. And what you're saying, Shadi, it's not like this obscure, reason or this complicated justification on how it happened. You're just saying you got back from conference, you made a personal commitment that, hey, I can do this. You talked to your wife about it and told her like, hey, this is a sacrifice that we're going to make because this is what I believe we can accomplish and this is what it's going to do for our family. And I think that might be the first step that everybody has on here is maybe you have some commitments you've made to yourself and goals you made to yourself. Have you shared them with anybody? Because when you share a goal with somebody, especially somebody like your significant other, but it could be, you could share on social media, you could share with whoever, you're 77% more likely to see that goal or commitment come to pass when you share it. And so you shared that goal, which kind of put some feet to the faith. And then you went out there and you said, how can I do this? And that gave you the thought of, hey, maybe a dialer. What I want everybody to understand, Shadi, is you didn't hire the dialer right away. You were already helping, 700-800 families in a given year. And then you hired a dialer to get you to that next level.
Correct.
So you already put the work in. You just knew if I had more days in the field, I'd be in a better spot, right?
That is correct.
So
Yes.
what did it look like when you didn't have a dialer? What was your run days, your dial days? Unpack that for us.
Sure. So I was dialing Monday and Thursdays, and booking my appointments for Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday, Saturday, Sunday. In between appointments, I used to be dialing, stop by any gas station, pick up the phone and dial as well. So I can fill up the blanks, or I used to do door knocking a lot too. Now that I do have a dollars, I don't have to worry about that. I just make sure that I have a full schedule. Like, for example, just got back from Colombia. Tomorrow's my first day in the field this year, right? I'm going in the field tomorrow. I have 9 appointments, and same, I have 9 appointments for the day after, and I have 8 appointments for Sunday. So those are the main thing that I have my dollars doing right now. And now I'm gonna be in the field, all the way through, and only taking Wednesdays off and working 6 days a week.
I
So
love
yeah.
that. So your schedule, when do you run your first appointment? When's your first appointment? When's your last appointment?
I keep them about an hour and a half in between. And I felt like that was a little easier. I can get to everyone at this point. And that's between like 8, 9:30, 11, 12:30, 2, 3:30, 5, 6:30, and 8. And that should total
So
out
you're
nine
running everything
appointments.
face to face.
Oh yeah, I don't do anything in telesales. Telesales is a little bit harder, and I really think someone that is new, I think it's a bad idea to get in telesales,
I
personally.
agree, man. I think that, yeah. Well, hey, I agree with you. I think one of the most important skills that you have to develop is a phone skills, right? And if you just go out there and try to sell all over the phone, it makes it a lot more difficult than that face-to-face interaction where you can kind of connect with the client and you can almost let the authenticity you got about caring about them overshadow your lack of competency and really understanding what to do and how to do it because you're so new. So I agree 100%. Shadi, the
Hmm.
crazy thing is, man, as you're talking about your schedule, like I got out of the field a couple years back when I partnered with Integrity, and until that point, I was face to face. This is prior to telesales, right? And, my schedule as I was building the business at the end, I was in the field, 2 days a week. And my goal was to run 9 appointments on both those days. And it was, my first appointment was 8 a.m. My last one was usually 8, typically 8:30. It would work at 8:30. I'd run every hour and a half. I'd book at 9 a.m. and I'd say, I'd be there between 8:30 and 9:30. If I booked a 2, I'd be there between 1:30 and 2:30. And I ran it like that. And in that year, I went out and helped 400 families. And if you do the math, it's the same ratio. And so for everybody on here, if you're like, I could never help, 1,300 families in a year, Shadi's got some special ability that he's been gifted by the insurance gods, and only he can do this. Well, guys, he's just simply running 8 appointments a day, 6 days a week. And so I wonder if you unpack your ratio,
Sure.
what your ratio would look like, because I guarantee you it's just simply making a decision to sacrifice and go all in. So now when you're in the field, if you have a no-show, a cancel, what do you do with that time, Shadi?
A door knock. The one thing I shared in this on this a little bit. Number one, the more you dial, the better you're gonna get. So dial all day long, right? As you're dialing, you're booking more appointments. Every day you dial, you're getting better, just like riding bicycles. Every time you're riding a bike, first time you fall, the second time 5 minutes you fall, the third time 10 minutes you fall, and all of a sudden you ride the bike, you never fall on it ever again. And kind of the same thing over here with dialing. You gotta keep dialing until you get better. There's no such thing that nobody's perfect, and nobody can book all leads, and all leads are an opportunity; they're not guaranteed. They all suck, right? And number two, in the home, right? The more appointments you run, same thing. You only get better as you keep going, right? And that's one thing that I did a little different. I tried to figure out a different way, tried to outwork other people, and I tried to always, compete with all the producers, trying to get on top. And that's one thing that about me is I'm very competitive. I was, believe it or not, Paul, I mean, you can ask Dan Shinadi on this. I was in actual hospital with COVID. Told my wife I had 10% chance survival, that I might not make it. I had oxygen on my face, and yet I was doing telesales. Okay?
Wow. Was that this year?
That was 2021. That was in August.
2021?
Yes, and I did sale over the phone, a telesales, while in the hospital bed, while the nursing doing an IV in my arm, and I'm doing a sale over the phone.
And was that because you wanted to make sure that you were going to hit that level of production 100%, that you told yourself you were going to hit?
100%. So it is something that I take my goal very seriously, and I think no matter who you are, if you take your goal seriously, figure out what you need to give up. Because I gave up my freedom for my goals, right? So figure out what you need to give up to get to your goals, because your goals not going to come like this. I mean, you're definitely going to have to give up something for it. So give up wherever you want to give up to get to your goals. And once you get that goal, eventually you can start taking some time back. You can start buying your time back at this point with the money you make.
I love that, man. Yeah. So, it's almost like, Shadi, I think that, when somebody's on here and they're looking at stepping into this year, when you have the clarity of you could either sacrifice a lot for a short period of time, which is what you did. Mm-hmm. You sacrificed a lot. I mean, that's a lot of days in the field. There's probably a lot of times that you wish you had some more time with your spouse, right? But you sacrificed a lot for that short period of time. But what you've accomplished in the last 2 years, man, like that's put you in a position financially that could take the same person that's only helping, 200 families a year. It could take them decades to create that same kind of income. And then you're able to create a higher level of profit because you're better. Man, if you're running that many appointments that consistently, you stay in the zone. You're like Michael Jordan that just can't miss because they're all going in that night. You have more of those nights where they just don't fall out because that repetition is so high that you're in that zone. And I think that's something that for anybody on here, it's either you pay a high level of sacrifice for a short period of time, but then in the long period of time, in the long run, you have so much more freedom. Or you just pay a little bit of sacrifice, a little bit of pain, but that lasts a lifetime. And it's just a different way to approach it. Shadi, what kind of, selling at the level that you've sold out, man. I mean, and I say this, and somebody might say, well, you're exaggerating. I don't think I am. I think that you're probably one of the number one producers, not just with FFL. I'm talking about the entire insurance industry, man. Like you guys are listening to somebody that is the top of their class in the most lucrative industry in the world. So, Shadi, what have you learned, after all those appointments in these 2 years? Like, what's something you could say, this will help somebody increase their sales? If I bumped into you at Starbucks and I said, dude, tell me something, man, what do I need to do? Like, give it to me. Like, what am I missing? What would you lay out for that person?
I would say one thing is, everybody's nervous about this, but the one thing is don't be cheap with leads. Don't overspend, but don't underspend neither. And overwork yourself. And the real work starts when you get tired, not right now. Like when I'm working, I'm not really working unless I'm tired. That's when the real work starts, right? The one thing is you just have to put in the effort and make sure you do the right thing for people and be honest with them and be honest with yourself, and this opportunity is amazing. I mean, people made really good living out of it, really good. And as long as you're not hurting others, you're doing good for others, and it's a great opportunity. Um, just invest your money, go all in. Don't be cheap. Don't be cheap with your effort neither. Work ethics is really important. At least not gonna doubt themselves and just go to work. And that's all I did. Just try to outwork everyone. I wasn't that good in the
Was
sales.
it
I just
Well, was there ever a time, Shadi, where you kind of like, you got to a point where um, you were just almost like exhausted, like you had gone for so many weeks on end, or you almost just felt like, man, this is a lot.
yeah.
And then if you felt that way, how did you get past that and get to the next level when you had that feeling?
So the one thing I was doing different is I started reminding myself why I'm doing what I'm doing, and it's for my family, right? Right now, we're looking at investing into Airbnbs. We're looking to investing into other stuff as well. So this business, not the insurance business in particular, opened a lot of opportunities for me in general. So, and again, I'm not no special. I'm not. I don't run God leads. I don't run lead that Jesus Christ gave me. I run the exact leads. I swear, I run the exact lead that everybody else ran. Exact leads. I'm not gonna say names, but I had an agent. He quit already. So he bought leads, and they were all the way down Fort Lauderdale, Florida. I'm sure if he hears this, he knows who I'm talking about. And at some point, him and I, like, he kept calling me, telling me the leaders suck, the leaders suck, the leaders suck. I'm like, dude, all leads suck. It's normal. It's just an opportunity. You gotta keep downing them. Anyway, we had a bet. If I run his leads in Fort Lauderdale, like if you give me those leads, I'm gonna dial them. I'm not gonna give them my dialer. So I'm gonna dial them and I'm gonna run them myself. I told him if I don't hit 10 family helped out of the leads you got, I told him I'm gonna give him $1,000. Deal? He said the deal. I went ahead, dialed them, went to Fort Lauderdale. I helped over 12 families out of the leads he bought. And I helped 12
I love
families in
that.
2 days. So what I'm trying to share here is all I was doing is, most people when they start dialing, when they start, trying to book appointments, it's discouraging and nobody likes it. And if anyone who's, listening to this call, if they like dialing, they're lying. Nobody does. And the thing is, it's like playing boxing. It's like boxing. When I used to box, my coach used to make me jump rope. I hated jump rope. He was putting me 30, 40, 50 minutes on the jump rope because my footwork was suck. And the only way to get my footwork better so I can get in the ring. And it's kind of same aspect over here. Everybody loves the field because that's where you meet with clients and try to make money. But yet nobody likes dialing, and that's normal. But you gotta have to do it. You have to get good at it before you can get in the field. Because no one can dial those appointments for you. You have to dial them yourself. You bought them, you dial them, and you go and sell them. And it's just the type of business we run.
I love that, man. And Shadi, I haven't heard it said that way, and I think it was put where everybody can understand that. I mean, it's exactly, that's everybody's saying, yeah, I agree. I hate dialing. I don't like dialing. Man, I'd rather have a root canal most of the time, than hop on the phones. But the reality is, you have to endure the bad in order to enjoy the stuff that's good, the stuff that you enjoy. You have to. It's not always all good. And I think most people forget that, Shadi, that when you look at any past business that they were in or job or endeavor that they had, dude, there was something about that where you're like, I hate that part of it. But you just did it anyways, right? Because it paid the bills. And then we lose track of that because we have the opportunity to choose what we want to do over here. You could choose not to dial. You could choose to get distracted. You could choose to, well, I feel like doing this, so you go do what you feel like doing. But in the end, if you don't treat it like a job and just say, this is what it is, I got to go through it, and I'm going to work it consistently day in, day out, you're going to have to end up going to get a job because this ain't going to work out,
100%.
right? So you have to have that discipline, man. Well, dude, I'll tell you what, dude, I think my intensity of wanting to attack today, this Monday, is more than most Mondays. Just listening to your schedule, your sacrifice, man, it's inspiring. You know what I mean? And what I want to do is we're going to get you on a part 2 and go through like in-home presentation, phone script, objection handling, and really kind of go through those things. But I love the stuff you shared today, dude, because I think it's what matters most. I think a lot of times somebody wants to hear, well, what do you say when this takes place? Or what do you say when they say this? Or what do you handle this scenario? How do I handle the guy that's 62 with the big mortgage? They think it's about that, but really what it's about is just like you said with that guy that said, those leads suck. It's like, no, man, your mindset sucks. Like the way you see him sucks. And because you see him like that, you behave in such a way that provides the evidence to support that verdict, which is you saying they suck. And so if you can just believe that it's a family and care enough to serve them and put the dedication in and commit yourself, you've already won. You just have to put the work in to support the fact that your win is there. Then it'll work out. And that's what you showed them. You know, you showed them, hey, now that guy, by the way, he quit because now you took away the excuse. He wasn't going to do anything anyways.
Yep.
That was just the most justifiable thing he could hold on to that can make himself feel comfortable with the fact that he wasn't willing to pay the price to go after what he said he wanted to go after. And the reality is, dude, that's the best thing you could have done for that guy, Shadi, was to free him to go do something different opposed to just, you know, die a slower death here because he was never willing to take the responsibility, accountability needed to go out there and elevate to where he wanted to get to. So, dude, I appreciate you, man. This has been very good. Guys, make sure to share this. Comment below. We have a drawing every single week, as you know. And so I love to see the winners every week that win the free lead money. And make sure to subscribe. And again, I don't think I have to tell you more than once, but this is something that's definitely worth, you know, sharing because this is how you get to the next level in 2023. So, Shadi, thank you so much, man.
Thank you, Paul. And thank you for having me here.
You got it, brother. All right, guys, make it a big week. Stay strong. Be steadfast. We'll talk to you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.
What's going on, everybody? You know what time it is. We're giving away leads to 4 lucky people. $250 worth of leads to 4 lucky people. If you commented on last week's podcast, which is playing right over here, you're automatically entered to win. So comment on this video right now so you can win next week. Without further ado, let's see who our first winner is. Melanie B, so much value in this video. Thank you for continuing to inspire us weekly. It is appreciated. Our second winner is Renee Mendoza. Gracias, amigos. Our third winner is JR. Thanks again. Let's go do it. And our fourth and final winner is the Rhino 88. I know I'm not getting off the phone with the blues, bro. Stay around positivity. Guys, it's that simple. You could win $250 worth of lead credit if you just comment on the video. So comment on this video right now. Winners, get into contact with Victoria. Her email is going to be right over here, and we'll see you next week, guys. Take care.